You're 30 years old. You check your bank account on a Tuesday morning, and the number staring back at you is almost the same as it was when you were 25. Maybe worse, because now there's a credit card balance that wasn't there before, and that pit in your stomach. That's not hunger. That's the realization that half a decade just disappeared, and you have nothing to show for it except a closet full of stuff you don't use and a car payment that never ends. Sit down. We need to talk. You don't know my name, and that's fine. What you need to know is this. I'm the voice of Main Street, not Wall Street with their fancy portfolios and trust funds. I'm the guy who worked 2 jobs in my 20s just to keep a roof over my head. I'm the guy who learned the hard way that every dollar I wasted was an hour of my life I'd never get back. And I'm here to tell you something this country forgot how to say out loud. Your 20s were supposed to teach you. Your 30s are here to collect the bill. And right now, that bill is overdue. But here's the part that's going to sting. This isn't about bad luck. It's not about your salary being too low or your rent being too high. Those things are real, sure. But the reason you're still broke at 30 is because you spent 5 years lying to yourself. 5 years saying, I deserve this every time you hit that checkout button. 5 years thinking that a small treat today wouldn't matter tomorrow. Well, guess what? Tomorrow is here and it matters. Now, before you close this and go back to scrolling, I want you to do something. Go to the comments right now and answer this question. What's the last thing you bought that you forgot about by the end of the week? Not judging, just asking. Because the first step to fixing a financial disaster is admitting you're standing in one. Still here? Good. That means you're serious. Or at least serious enough to hear the truth. Let me tell you what happened to me. I spent my 20s thinking I was being smart with money because I paid my bills on time. I wasn't maxing out credit cards. I wasn't buying cars I couldn't afford. I was responsible, or so I thought. Then one day I sat down and actually looked at where my money was going, not just the big stuff, rent, utilities, insurance, the small stuff, the daily coffee, the lunch I grabbed because I didn't feel like packing one. The subscription services I signed up for and forgot existed, and when I added it all up, I wanted to punch myself in the face. Because here's what I found. I was spending $20 a day on nothing, on convenience, on little moments of, I deserve this. $20 a day is $600 a month. That's $7,200 a year. Over 5 years, $36,000. Gone. Vanished into thin air while I convinced myself I was doing fine. $36,000, you know what that is? That's a year of living expenses. That's a used car paid in full. That's the emergency fund that would have saved me when my water heater exploded at 2 in the morning and I had to put it on a credit card. But I didn't have that money, because I spent it on garbage I can't even remember buying. And the worst part? I'm not special. This is the American trap. We work hard, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes 3. And we think that hard work earns us the right to spend. We see something we want, and we think, I work for this money. I can spend it how I want. And you're right. You can. But then, you're going to hit 30, 40, 50, and still be one unexpected expense away from financial collapse. Still lying awake at 3 in the morning wondering how you're going to pay for the transmission that just went out. Still stuck in the same place while time keeps moving forward. You think your problem is that you don't make enough money. That's what everyone thinks. And yeah, wages are stagnant. Yeah, everything costs more. But you know what's also true? You're bleeding money on things that don't even improve your life. You're paying for comfort and convenience and calling it survival. And every single time you do that, you're making a choice. You're choosing immediate gratification over future security. You're choosing the dopamine hit of a package on your doorstep over the peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. That's the mentality that keeps people broke, not bad luck, not low wages. The mentality that says spending money on nonsense is somehow a reward for working hard. It's not a reward, it's a punishment. Because every time you buy something you don't need, you're trading a piece of your future for a moment of present comfort. And eventually the future runs out of pieces to give. So here's where we are. You're 30, you're broke, and if nothing changes, you're going to be 40 and even more broke. But here's the thing, and listen close, because this is the only good news I'm going to give you. You still have time. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to turn this around if you're willing to stop lying to yourself and start making different choices. In the next parts, I'm not going to teach you how to get rich. I'm not going to sell you some investment strategy or side hustle fantasy. I'm going to teach you how to stop being poor. And the first step is going to hurt more than you think, because it starts with looking in the mirror and admitting that the person who got you into this mess is the same person who has to get you out. That person is you, and it's time to get to work. All right, you're still here. That means you didn't run away when I told you the truth. Good. Because now we're going to do the part that really hurts. We're going to find out exactly where your money is going. And I promise you, it's not where you think. Most people believe they know what they spend. They'll tell you rent, car payment, insurance, groceries, gas, the big stuff, the necessary stuff. And sure, those are real expenses. But here's what they don't tell you. The big expenses aren't the problem. You know those are coming. You budget for them. You prepare. It's the small stuff that kills you. The stuff you don't even notice until it's too late. Let me paint you a picture. There's a guy named Tom who owns the diner 2 blocks from where I live. He's been there 30 years. He sees everything. And you know what he told me last week? He said the same people come in every morning, spend $8 on breakfast, and then complain about how they can't afford to save money. $8 every single day. That's $240 a month. That's $2,880 a year. And they don't even think about it because it's just breakfast. Or take my neighbor. Nice guy. Works construction. 2 years ago, he signed up for every streaming service because he didn't want to miss any shows. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Paramount, Apple TV. You know what that costs? About $80 a month if you're not paying attention. $9,600 over 2 years. And you know how many of those services he actually uses? 2, maybe. The rest? He forgot he even had them. That's $1,000 a year going straight into the trash because he couldn't be bothered to hit cancel. This is what I'm talking about. The leaks. The invisible hemorrhaging of your paycheck into things that give you zero value. And it's everywhere. Bank fees because you let your account dip too low. Late fees because you forgot to pay something on time. The coffee on the way to work. The energy drink at lunch. The impulse buy on Amazon because it was on sale and you convinced yourself you needed it. Here's what I did when I finally woke up. I took 1 month, just 30 days, and I wrote down every single thing I spent money on. Every coffee, every snack, every app I downloaded, every subscription I forgot about, and at the end of that month I sat down with a calculator and I added it all up. And you know what I found? I was spending $500 a month on things I couldn't even remember buying. $500 a month is $6,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's $30,000. And what did I have to show for it? Nothing. Not one thing. Just a vague memory of thinking I was treating myself. So here's your homework, and I mean this. For the next 30 days, track every cent. Not just the big stuff. Everything. Write it in your phone. Use an app. I don't care. Just do it. Because I guarantee you're going to look at that list at the end of the month and feel sick. And that's good. You should feel sick. That sick feeling is called clarity. It's your brain finally understanding what your wallet has known all along. You're sabotaging yourself. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but I work hard. I deserve to enjoy my money. And you're right. You do work hard. Maybe harder than anyone gives you credit for. But here's the thing. Buying stuff you don't need isn't enjoying your money. It's wasting it. Enjoyment is the feeling you get when you look at your bank account and know you're okay. When your car breaks down and you don't panic because you have money set aside. When you sleep through the night because you're not worried about your credit card bill. That's enjoyment. That's peace. And you can't buy that on Amazon. Let me tell you the psychology of it, because this is where people mess up. Your brain loves instant gratification. It loves the little dopamine hit of clicking buy now. It loves the feeling of a package showing up at your door. And companies know this. They've spent billions of dollars figuring out how to hijack your brain and make you spend money you don't have on things you don't need. Every ad you see, every limited time offer, every only 3 left in stock message. It's all designed to make you act before you think. And the worst part? It works. It works on me. It works on you. It works on everyone. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. You can train your brain to do the opposite. You can teach yourself to get that same dopamine hit from not spending, from watching your savings account grow, from knowing you're in control instead of being controlled. How? Simple. Every time you want to buy something, ask yourself one question. Will I care about this in a week? Not in a month, not in a year, in a week. Because here's the truth. 90% of the things you want to buy right now you won't even remember by next Tuesday. And if you won't remember it, why are you spending money on it? Now, I can hear the pushback already. You're thinking, this guy wants me to live like a cheapskate. He wants me to never have any fun. And no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be smart. Be intentional. If you want to spend money on something, spend it on something that actually matters to you. Something you'll remember. Something that adds value to your life. But stop throwing money at things just because they're there. Stop buying garbage just because it's convenient. You want to know the difference between being cheap and being smart. Cheap is refusing to spend money on things that matter. Smart is refusing to waste money on things that don't. And trust me, most of what you're buying doesn't matter. Not even a little bit. Now we get to the part that separates the people who actually change from the people who just talk about it. We're going to talk about the power of saying no. And I don't mean no to other people. I mean no to yourself. Because that's the hardest no there is. Let me show you what I mean with some math. Real math. The kind that's going to make you mad at yourself. Let's say you eat out 4 times a week. Not fancy restaurants. Just casual stuff. Chipotle, Five Guys, Panera, whatever. Average of $15 per meal, that's $60 a week. That's $240 a month. That's $2,880 a year. Now let's say you did that from age 25 to age 30. 5 years. That's $14,400. You know what $14,400 is? That's a reliable used car paid in full. That's 6 months of rent in most American cities. That's the difference between having an emergency fund and living one broken transmission away from disaster. But it gets worse, because it's not just eating out. Let's add the coffee. $5 a day, 5 days a week. That's $25 a week. That's $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Over 5 years, that's $6,000 just on coffee. Coffee you probably didn't even enjoy half the time because you were drinking it in your car on the way to a job you hate. Add those together. Eating out plus coffee. $20,400 over 5 years. Gone. Evaporated. And for what? Convenience. The illusion that you're too busy to pack a lunch. Listen to me. You're not too busy. You're too lazy. And I can say that because I was too lazy. I made the same excuses. I told myself I didn't have time. But you know what the truth was? I didn't want to make time, because making time required effort and spending money was easy. Let me tell you about Sarah from Ohio. Real person. She reached out to me last year. She was 32, $40,000 in credit card debt, and she couldn't figure out how she got there. So I had her track her spending for 1 month. You know what we found? She was spending $350 a month on DoorDash and Uber Eats. $350. That's $4,200 a year. And she was shocked. She genuinely had no idea it was that much because she never added it up. It was just $10 here, $20 there. Little charges that didn't seem like anything until you put them all together. So here's what she did. She stopped. Cold turkey. No more delivery apps. She started meal prepping on Sundays. She bought groceries. She cooked. And you know what happened? In 1 year, she saved over $4,000. In 2 years, she paid off $12,000 of debt. Not because she got a raise. Not because she won the lottery, because she learned to say no to herself. That's the power we're talking about. The power to look at something you want and say, I don't need this. The power to feel the impulse to buy and let it pass without acting on it. The power to choose your future over your present comfort. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking about your family, your friends, the people who don't understand why you're suddenly saying no to going out every weekend, why you're not buying rounds at the bar anymore, why you're skipping the vacation everyone else is taking. And yeah, that's hard. People are going to judge you. They're going to call you cheap. They're going to say you're no fun anymore. And here's what you tell them. Nothing. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking control of your money. You don't owe anyone a justification for choosing financial security over social approval. The people who truly care about you will respect your choices. The people who don't, they were never really in your corner anyway. But let me be real with you about something else. This isn't just about cutting expenses. It's about cutting out the noise in your head, the noise that says you need things you don't need, the noise that says spending money equals happiness, the noise that says you deserve to treat yourself every single day just because you showed up to work. You want to know what you actually deserve? You deserve to sleep at night without worrying about money. You deserve to have choices when life throws you a curveball. You deserve to look at your bank account and feel proud instead of ashamed. But you're not going to get that by spending every cent you make. You're going to get it by being smarter than the version of yourself that got you into this mess. Here's the vision I want you to hold in your head. It's a Tuesday night. You're at home. Your phone buzzes with your bank notification. And instead of that feeling of dread, instead of wondering if you have enough to cover what you just bought, You look at that notification and you smile, because you know exactly where you stand. You know you're okay. You know that if your car breaks down tomorrow, you can handle it. If you lose your job next month, you've got a cushion. That feeling, right there, is worth more than every impulse buy you've ever made combined. Every yes to comfort today is a no to security tomorrow. Remember that. Tattoo it on your brain, because every single time you're about to spend money on something you don't need, that's the choice you're making. Present comfort or future security. And you can't have both. Not on a normal person's income. Not on Main Street. You have to choose, so choose wisely. Choose like your life depends on it, because it does. All right, we've covered a lot. We've talked about the wake-up call. We've mapped where your money is disappearing. We've talked about the power of saying no. Now comes the part that matters most, what you're going to do about it. Because understanding the problem is worthless if you don't act on it. Here's the truth about being 30 and broke. You still have time, but the clock is ticking faster than you think. You've got maybe 10 good years to turn this around before you hit 40, and the consequences get a lot more permanent. 10 years to build something. 10 years to get out of debt. 10 years to create the financial cushion that lets you breathe. But only if you start now. Not next month. Not after the holidays. Now. Let me show you two futures. Two versions of you at age 35. Just 5 years from now. Future one, you keep doing what you're doing. You keep spending everything you make. You keep telling yourself you'll start saving next year. Next year comes and goes. Then another, then another. You hit 35 and you're still broke. Probably more broke because now you've got more debt. The credit cards are maxed. The car payment never ended because you traded up instead of paying off. And that feeling in your chest, that constant low-level anxiety. It's worse now because you're 5 years older and no further ahead. And the scary part is you can see 40 coming. You can feel time running out. And you realize you wasted your entire 30s the same way you wasted your 20s. Future 2. You make different choices starting today. You track every dollar. You cut the nonsense. You stop eating out 4 times a week and start meal prepping. You cancel the subscriptions you don't use. You say no to the impulse buys. And in the first month you save $300. It's not a lot, but it's something. Second month, $400. Third month, $500. By the end of year 1, you've saved $5,000. That's your emergency fund, that's your safety net. Year 2, you tackle the credit card debt. You throw every extra dollar at it. By year 3, it's gone. You're debt-free except maybe student loans or a mortgage. And by 35, you've got $15,000 in the bank. You've got breathing room, you've got options. And that anxiety? It's gone. Replaced by something you haven't felt in years. Peace of mind. Which future do you want? Because I'm telling you right now, you get to choose. This isn't about luck. This isn't about winning the lottery or getting some big promotion. This is about discipline. This is about making better choices every single day for 5 years. That's it. 5 years of being intentional with your money, and your entire life changes. So here's your plan. Your 90-day turnaround. 3 months to prove to yourself that you can do this. Month 1. Truth Month. Track every single dollar you spend. Every coffee, every parking fee, every subscription, every impulse buy, write it all down. At the end of 30 days, add it up. Look at where your money went. Feel the anger, feel the regret. Use it as fuel. Month 2. Cut month. Take that list from month 1 and highlight everything that wasn't necessary. Then cut half of it. Not all of it, because you're not trying to live like a monk. But half. Cancel subscriptions. Stop eating out as much. Pack your lunch. Make your coffee at home. Take the money you save and put it in a separate savings account. Don't touch it. Just watch it grow. Month 3. Build month. Keep doing everything from month 2. But now add one more thing. Find one expense you can negotiate down. Call your insurance company and ask for a better rate. Call your internet provider and threaten to switch unless they lower your bill. Refinance something. Find $20, $30, $50 more per month. Add it to your savings. By the end of 90 days, you should have at least $1,000 saved. That's your foundation. That's proof you can do this. Now, here's the thing about those 90 days. They're going to be hard. You're going to want to quit. You're going to have moments where you feel deprived, where you see something you want and you have to tell yourself no, and it's going to hurt. But you know what hurts more? Being 45 years old and still living paycheck to paycheck, still one emergency away from financial ruin, still lying awake at night wondering how you're going to make it through the month. This isn't about suffering. This is about taking back control. This is about looking at the banks, the credit card companies, the streaming services, the restaurants, All the people who profit from your lack of discipline and saying, "Not anymore. You're not getting another dollar from me unless I decide you've earned it. You are the boss of your money, not the other way around, and it's time you started acting like it. So here's my final challenge to you. If you made it this far, if you actually listened to everything I said, then prove it. Go to the comments right now and write 3 words. I will not waste. That's your contract, not with me. With yourself, with your future. Say it out loud, mean it, then get to work. You're 30 years old, you're broke, but you don't have to stay that way. The next 5 years are yours to shape. Make them count. Because time doesn't care about your excuses, and neither does your bank account. Now go turn off that light you left on in the other room. You're not paying to light an empty house.